Okay, get this out real quick because I've got a lot of work to do today. I have a customer who is getting ready to move, and they have been so kind to give me a lot of their things. So, and if you don't know, I have an eBay store, which I'll put down in the descriptions below. So they've given me a lot of their clothes, and yesterday they had a yard sale and were kind enough to let me know about it because I didn't know. And I was working, so they kind of kept the yard sale open a little later than what they had originally planned. So I did buy some things for them, and then they gave me some things at the end because they just want to get rid of it so that they have less things to move. So I got some really interesting things, and I have some backstory on some of these items, but I also have questions, so I want you guys to help me. Um, if you can, if you know anything about some of these items. So I'm going to show you. And I will say that a couple of these pieces may have a little bit of a controversy about them, but we'll get to that in a few minutes. But I want to start with this first piece. This is, look at this vase. This thing is huge and it's heavy. I know that it's crystal. It is very, very heavy. Um, Hi, Michael. Oh, Michael, you made it. Are you tired? Do you have your cup of coffee? So for people who don't know, Michael is my admin and he lives in California. So he is 3 hours behind me. And I told him I was going to do this morning. And I told him, if it's too early, I understand, I get it, but I really need to get these videos out. And so he is up bright and early Sunday morning to help me with this chat. So thank you so much, Michael. Anyway, this, I think it's a Mikasa, but I'm not sure. And if you look, it's got this like etched, I think this is a lily here, but it looks kind of like there's a heart there too. Oh, good. I'm glad you're good, Michael. That's great. And it is very heavy and it's large and it's deep. So I think it's a Mikasa. I'm not 100% sure. It's dirty, but I think the glass on it is good. I haven't cleaned any of these items yet. So this is and this is going to go in my store, and I think I have a box for this. So this one shouldn't take too long for me to list. Oh, and this is a giveaway. She gave this to me. So if this really is a Mikasa and and let me know, that's a very nice piece. Okay. This piece was also given to me, and this is a lead crystal as well. And you can see it's a relish tray. And I know a lot of people don't like to bother with clear glass, but these things are kind of sentimental for me. I grew up with this type of dishes when I was a child. This is a relish dish, so you would put maybe celery or pickles and olives and that kind of stuff in here. And it's just stuff like munchies for people while they're waiting for dinner or after dinner. If you have a little cocktail party, it's just something for them to munch on. But I love this kind of stuff. It makes me think of when I was a kid and we had holidays. So I'm going to list it, even if I don't get a lot for it. That's okay. This was given to me, so I didn't pay anything for it. And I think that piece comes, I want to say it's like mid-century. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it is. Now this piece, this is a big fruit bowl, and it's got kind of a spiral pattern on it, and it's clear glass as well. And there is some etching, there's some etching on it, so it's been used. Now the lady that gave me this told me that this came from her grandmother. Here's the bottom if you want to look at that. It came from her grandmother, and I think it might be depression glass. I'm not 100% sure, but the thing that makes me think that it is it reminds me of, hi, Amazing Friday. It reminds me of a cake plate that I had that was depression glass. I know that it was because I got it from a reputable dealer, and I had bought it for myself back before I started selling things. So I think it's depression glass if you want to look at it up close, but I'm not 100% sure. It looks very similar to a piece that I had a while back. The only difference is that this has this little scalloped edge, and mine had just a plain round edge, but I had my cake plate had a gold band around it. So that's this fruit bowl. I have no idea what I'm going to sell these things for yet. So get that out of the way. Now this piece is interesting. This is fine bone china from Crown, Staffordshire, England, and it comes in a box like this. I don't really think this piece is worth that much right now, according to Dr. Lori. It's the silver anniversary of Queen Elizabeth. It's a decorative plate, and it has on the back, it's numbered. It's kind of hard to read that writing, but it basically tells you where the plate is from and why it's there. But it's a good picture of Queen Elizabeth. And it's in the box, and it was just given to me. They're trying to get rid of things, so they gave me that. So that's kind of neat. And then this piece, this is another piece. So this is a kind of a large decorative plate, and it has all these little buildings. This is from Savannah, Georgia. So, and this is what the back looks like this. Okay, so I did some research on this, and the artist is Amy Lovering Roberts, and Miss Roberts was from Savannah, and she did all these drawings, and it's kind of sad. She was a young woman who she passed away a few years back. She had cancer, but I think she was in her 30s, and I think that she was a really loved person. She was a teacher, an art teacher at one of the schools there in Savannah, and apparently she must have been commissioned to do these drawings for this plate. So again, I don't know the value on this plate. I don't know that there's a huge market for it, but I guess I'll find out. And this was given to me, so I didn't put any cost into it. So we'll see what happens. Okay, now we're going to get into some other interesting things. So this is, look at this, isn't this pretty? It's rhinestones, it's not real. This is a shoulder pin, and it's a dolphin. So for people who like dolphins, look at the little green eye. But this you would pin to the shoulder of your blouse, and it's just a fun little piece. I don't think it's going to be high value or anything. I looked inside. There's no specific mark, so it's an unbranded piece, but it's really dear. And there are people who love dolphins, and since this is something you wear here because of the shape of it, see how it's shaped? It's just a very interesting piece. It's really pretty too. So that one will be fun. I'd love to see. You think the plate with the drawings are going to be valuable, or the Queen Elizabeth plate? Which one do you think would be more valuable? I don't know. Okay. And okay, so then I have these two pieces. Now I have some history on these. I'll show you one at a time. These came from the Virgin Islands, St. Thomas. And these were purchased in 1981 by the mister at the house, and they have rum in them, and they're still corked, and it's still in there, but aren't they dear? Now, when you are selling on eBay, and when you have to have a license to sell alcohol, okay? So I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with this yet. I'm kind of afraid to uncork it. You think the Queen Elizabeth, oh, the cork just broke. I don't know what I'm going to do with these, okay? I'm not sure. They have the alcohol in them. So, I can smell it. But anyway, that's this one. It looks like a little jug. And here's the other one. I like the shape on this. This kind of almost reminds me of a little genie bottle, but it's not very big. But I'm afraid to open this one now because I just broke the cork on that one. I may uncork them and take the alcohol out. Because you can't, mailing stuff like that is also a no-no or a bad thing or whatever. And I don't want to be bothered with it, to be honest with you. But these are beautiful little bottles. Aren't they cute? They're adorable. And the story is, he told me he was in the military, and he was stationed down there, and they would go from one island over to St. Thomas, and that's where they would party. You've seen plates and antique between 45 and 60. I don't know, I know that there are people here in the United States as well as abroad who really love Queen Elizabeth. And, you know, so it's hard to say. We'll see what happens with that. The only reason that I think that it may be not as valuable right now is because it falls in between the 50 and 75-year mark. It's not, I watch Dr. Lori. And so there's certain historical dates when you value older pieces and, 50 years, 100 years, those kind of things, that will help increase the value. And that time span between those significant dates, the value on certain things goes down. So I don't know. We'll have to see. The other thing I got were these. Now these are kind of cool. These are handmade. They were made by Boy Scouts, and if it's marked on the end, so it was Cobra. That was the troop that the mister, he was a leader, and he said that they made them and that the kids would use these to pound the nails for the tents in. You see that right there? There's a little chip in it, but you can see like there's still the bark. There's a knot hole on this one, and I don't know what kind of wood they are, but they're definitely handmade. And that's pretty good. If it, I don't know how old the Boy Scouts were that made these, but they did a pretty good job. They had to turn them on a lathe, and they're just really rustic and kind of cool looking. This one has some bark on it too, and you can see where there's some wear on it from banging stakes in. There's a crack. There was a knot hole there, and there's a crack. But they're really, they feel very sturdy to me. They got a nice feel in your hand. And I know that with these kind of mallets, this is actually called a mallet, people who do wood carving use these, and people who do stone carving use mallets that are shaped like this. I don't know if these are actually good for that. They feel pretty balanced to me, believe it or not, even though they don't look balanced. But a collector might like them. They're just interesting, and they're rustic, and they do have a little bit of Boy Scout history, although I don't know I can prove that from this. But I thought that was kind of cool. Okay, I've got a couple more pieces. So this one, this I love, and I did purchase this. This is a Shoeshine Box, and you can see it's really old. And if you look inside, it's kind of dirty, and it's got some wear on it. But this is what I think is interesting. Now, he told me he got this at an estate sale, and it was full of tools, and that's why there's some marks in there. But if you look at this, it says Singer. I don't know if you guys are seeing it backwards. It looks backwards on my end, but it says Singer. So this helps to date this wood and the nails. Some of the nails, like there's these nails, I think are older than these nails. I'm not 100% sure. Anything that you know about this, or you know about the Singer crates, because that's what I think this is. I think that this was kind of recycled wood from a crate that a Singer sewing machine came in, or Singer something. It says flat. I can see it says flat. And I'm not sure what this says here. I tried to look this up, and I wasn't able to find much, but I know it just the way that the Singer is printed down here. I know this is from the Singer sewing machines. So that's kind of cool. Look at the bottom. See, it's been around for a while. It even has kind of an old smell. But just look at the way that, I'm not going to do much to clean it other than maybe just wipe it up. But look, there's some staining on it. It feels like pine. It's pretty sturdy. I mean, it feels well made. But it's an old Shoeshine Box that somebody made, and we don't know more than that other than what the wood tells us, but look, the color's gorgeous. It's really, for somebody who likes like primitive, it's just, I think it's a beautiful piece. So I really like this. So there's this. Now I have two more pieces, and I'm not sure what the value on these are. Yeah, it looks like pine, and I think that's what it is. It probably was, because pine is kind of a cheap wood, and they would have used that for shipping. This would have been pre-cardboard and all the packing material that we use nowadays, that this came out. So that, I know it helps date the wood. I'm thinking, I don't know, maybe 1900s, early 1900s. But look at this. This is uh, um, a hatchet blade, and it's old. But look, this is what's interesting about this is how worn this is and how beat up it is that it's actually started to mushroom here. Um, the blade, this is not good for actually using. The blade is very rough. You can feel notches in it. It's really going to be more of a decorative piece. This patina came out. He told me that he did clean it up, that it was all just very, very rusted, and he cleaned it up. He didn't put any kind of a sealant or anything on it, so whatever shine is there, it's just from the metal itself. But these colors came out, and I just think it's cool because it's old and it's beat up. There's no name on it, so I don't know who made this, but it could have been anything. But it's old. There's the handle there. That's a cool piece. And so, you know, maybe somebody will want this. They used it for decoration in their house. They just had it sitting on a shelf. But it's a kind of neat piece. And I got this very cheap. Now, this piece here, this is the one that kind of is a little controversial. And this is a maul. It's pretty heavy, but I think shipping it isn't going to be that difficult if I use a flat rate box. And it's the same kind of backstory. It was very dirty when he got it. He cleaned it up, and it has a little bit of a rusty patina in it. And obviously been used a lot because look how mushroomed that is. Okay. And what I think this is, because of how wide this is a maul, M-A-U-L. It's called a maul. And I think it's for stone. I think was used for carving stone. And the reason why I think that is, besides the shape of it, I think the significance of it is that it's from here in, well, I live outside or next to Stone Mountain, Georgia. And if you know anything about Stone Mountain, it was a quarry. There was a quarry there where they quarried granite. So this may have been used at the quarry, or somebody who was a stone worker. I don't know. I don't know for sure. I know that outside of Stone Mountain and some of the other areas, there's still a lot of granite and marble and that kind of stone, not just in Stone Mountain itself. But here's the thing with this piece. I know where it came from. I know it's old. It's not really usable anymore either. And I don't even know that this would be safe if it's so rounded like this. I guess you can even tell, like, the person might have been, well, I guess it depends on which way the handle goes, but their dominant hand maybe was on this side. But we know that Stone Mountain has a little bit of notoriety about it, and their history and some of the things that happened here. It was a quarry that was purchased by the Venerable family, and they were trying to stay within YouTube guidelines. They helped the rebirth of a very famous, very infamous hate group. Okay, I'll just put it that way. They have a 3-letter initial for their the name of their group, and yeah, they helped with the rebirth. They had a big lighted, it was a cross. They put a cross up on top of Stone Mountain, and they lit it on fire, and that's very significant. So that's very significant because this area is not a lot of, there's not a lot of mountains, there's not a lot of highlands. So for instance, when you're driving down 85 coming from the north going towards Atlanta, you can see Stone Mountain in the distance. So if you can think of what it would be like to come from that direction at night when there's a fire up there, that you could see that from very, very far away. So there's that notoriety with Stone Mountain. And, you know, Stone Mountain, Martin Luther King mentioned Stone Mountain in his I Have a Dream speech. So that's the bad things, and the carving. That's the bad things. But the good things about Stone Mountain that isn't as well known, I don't think, is that stone from that mountain actually went to Washington, D.C., and a lot of the buildings in D.C. were made using the granite from Stone Mountain. One of them is the Washington Monument. Some of the stone in the monument comes from Stone Mountain, and also the Lincoln Memorial. I believe Abraham Lincoln himself comes from stone that came from Stone Mountain. So it's not all bad, but it's pretty bad. So I don't know as far as the history of this and where it came from and what it is. I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong about this. So if you think that it might be something different and it's just that worn, I don't know. Let me know, please. I'm totally open for comments and questions and things that you know about these pieces, especially pieces that I'm not as familiar with. But the interesting thing is that I was able to get some backstory and some information on these pieces that I wouldn't normally have gotten if I had just gone to a thrift store or, you know, gone in as a patron to an estate sale. I wouldn't necessarily be able to ask questions. Sometimes at yard sales you can get a little bit more. And these people were so good to me. My car, you can't really tell because the windows are dark, but that car right there is filled to the brim with Christmas stuff. So what I'm going to do is today, I have to get all that out of there. I'm going to put it in my trailer that I have up here and wait till like October. In October, I'm planning on having kind of a yard sale. And we can do that here because it doesn't get real cold, you know, in October. And I'm thinking that that's a good time to try to sell off some of the Christmas stuff. So anyway, those are the things that I have. My store link will be down below. And if you're interested in any of these items, some of these will go up quicker than others just because I have to find the right way to package them to mail them out. And please, anything you know that you can do to help me identify some of these pieces, I would really appreciate it. Thank you for watching, and everybody have a great day. And Michael, thanks so much for helping. Bye-bye.